Good evening. Mm-mm.
Good afternoon.
Good evening, Ms. Peterson. Can you hear me?
I certainly can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, I should be leaning on my desk.
Can you see, Julie? Can you see me?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
You have a one behind you. You're in a black chair.
Okay.
And see all that.
Okay.
Mr. Long and Dr. Poteet.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It's Lavanya Mitchell.
Good evening, Miss Mitchell.
How are you?
How are you, Miss Mitchell?
Everything's fine. I hope everybody's well and safe and healthy.
Good, good. Yeah, same. Ditto, ditto, ditto.
My football team's sick, in case anybody wants to know.
Yeah, we both of our football teams are sick. The whole league is sick.
The league is, but I don't feel sorry for the Cowboys. Just
You
want to
know
put that
what?
out there.
That's why the Eagles are doing what they're doing.
I really don't. I'm amazed at these kind of stats where we're still in first place.
Until Thursday night.
That says a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, Lavanya. That says a whole lot.
That says that our leagues are bad.
It says the league is the league has fatigue.
I agree. So I'm going to have to read notes. So I don't know if I move my notes off of my laptop because I don't have my desktop. Will it block my camera? Good evening, Dr. Clarkamo, Mr. Shaw,
Good evening, everybody.
and Mrs. Chico.
Good evening, board members.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Is that Miss Chico?
Yes, hi, Miss Pitts. How are you this evening?
Okay, how are you?
Good.
Good.
Oh, there's my fellow cowboy. I thought I was outnumbered for a while.
Oh, wait till Howard gets on.
He
on.
is. He's on.
Oh, is he?
Yes,
Probably
he's
hiding
on.
in the corner.
Oh, give it to me. I take it right on the chin, right here. Backing down. I give it out, I take it.
That's how I feel. It's been rough.
Yeah, that whole division's horrible.
No fair weather fan here. It's thick and thin.
But it's sad. It's no excitement. The luster is gone.
Yep. Yeah. Football season. I can't wait for baseball season. The free agent signings to start. That's how boring football is for me now.
I agree.
Now you got a guy in charge with money to burn.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Long, are you muted? Are you muted?
Mrs. Pitts?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Do you think you could give maybe the board just maybe a couple of sentences on that EO 196?
Yes.
Okay, just briefly, only because it was talked about, mentioned at the delegate assembly.
No.
Okay.
Sure.
Oh, I have 5:54.
Yeah, we got 6 minutes.
Oh, where's the rest of the board? Did someone just join us? Mr. Blake, good evening, Mr. Blake.
How are you?
Okay, how are
Good evening,
you?
Mr. Blake.
I'm good.
Good.
Hey, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Yes,
Happy
happy
Thanksgiving. I think Miss McClendon just joined. Good evening, Miss McClendon. Is she muted?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Miss
Good evening,
McClendon.
Good evening, Miss McClendon.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How many minutes I got, Miss Pitts?
One. I'm at 5:59.
Okay.
1 minute. Good evening, Miss Martin.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Miss Martin. How are you?
I'm super fantastic.
Oh, that's good. Okay, folks. Lights, camera, action. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, board members, administration, and the public. Welcome to the regular board meeting of the Winslow Township Board of Education. Public notice of this meeting was given to all board members and associates, and notices dated August 31st, 2020 and October 7th, 2020. Adequate and electronic notice of this public meeting has been provided specifying the time, place, and manner in which this meeting is being conducted. It was advertised in the Courier Post, posted in all schools, the administration office, the municipal building, the library, the Badubel Center, Edgewood Acres, Elmtown, and the Winslow Township post offices. And this is our mission statement. The mission of the Winslow Township School District, a large, diverse, and growing community, is to educate all students to become independent, lifelong learners, critical thinkers, and caring and confident members of their community. The district, in partnership with the community and in a climate of cooperation and mutual respect, will provide an academic environment which values excellence and diversity, encourages our students to strive for personal excellence, and assists them in acquiring the knowledge, skills, and attitudes necessary to contribute positively to a rapidly changing world. Roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
Present.
Miss Dredden.
Ms. Dredden is ill this evening. She will not be joining us.
Okay, Miss Martin,
Present.
Miss McClendon,
Present.
Miss Mitchell,
Present.
Mr. Shaw,
Present.
Ms. Thomas?
Ms. Thomas will not be joining us this evening.
Okay. Ms. Peterson?
Present.
Ms. Pitts?
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. May we take pause for a moment and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Ms. Martin, would you read out 2020-2021 district goals, please?
Yes, Madam President. 2021 district goals. Student achievement. Continue to implement past best practices for delivering instruction to students utilizing all available and appropriate instructional modes. That shall include A, ensuring articulation at all grade levels throughout the district. B, focus on classroom instruction at all grade levels. C, ensuring all students have equal access to equipment and resources needed to facilitate and promote student learning in any setting. D, evaluation and updating all district programs. E, accountability of all district staff. 2, continue to foster a positive school environment that is conducive to teaching and learning. A, focus on building relationships among staff that will result in increased learning and more effective instruction. B, promote creative instruction, training, and retraining. C, emphasis on collaboration with all district stakeholders. D, promote cultural competence throughout the district. E, teacher to student relationships. F, student to student relationships. 3, market our strengths and achievements to all stakeholders to increase capacity for greater parent, caregiver, community support. A, continue with our public relations marketing plan. B, continue to work with various advisory committees in the district. And C, examine communication methods utilized by the district.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. Moving now, board members. Awards and presentations. Would there be any this evening, Dr. Poteet?
No, Madam President, no presentation this evening.
Thank you. Moving now to correspondence. Ms. Chico, would there be any correspondence this evening?
None this evening, Madam President.
Thank you. At this time, I'm asking board members for a motion to approve the following minutes of the Board of Education's regular meeting that was held on November 10th, 2020, open session. Is there a motion?
Motion Blake.
Second, Shaw.
Moved by Mr. Blake, second by Mr. Shaw. Would there be further comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Ms. McClendon?
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Ms. Pitts?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you, Ms. Chico. Moving now, board members, to our committee reports. Would there be a committee report from the Education Committee?
Yes, Madam President. The Education Committee met on Monday, November the 23rd, 2020 at 3:30 via conference call. Present, Ms. Peterson, Ms. Martin, Ms. Mitchell, and Dr. Quacomo. Topics discussed. Number 1, technology. Genesis Parent Portal. There are currently 3,640 assigned parent accounts, with 2237 accounts having been active since 9/1/2020. Technology assistance. Since November the 17th, there has been 2 parents requesting for assistance. one request for assistance with equipment, and one for software time. As noted, you will find on each website, including our district website, on the right-hand side has a drop-down bar for technology services, and it gives and cites the time for technology assistance in all schools and all days, and who is responsible for that particular school. Number 2, special education parent advisory group. The special education parent group met on Tuesday, November 17th, 2020, via Zoom. There were 7 parents representatives from all schools span, and there were 3 district representatives. Dr. Riccardi conducted the meeting and was supported by Dr. Cooper and Dr. Quacamo. The group was provided with an overview of the purpose and expectations, shared some of the topics they felt would be beneficial to parents, and established the next meeting date with Dr. Riccardi. Questions and answers were conducted at that time. The meeting concluded after approximately 1 hour. The next meeting is scheduled January 2021. 3, academic tutors. And you have our report, our agenda for tonight. Academic support is available for students at the end of each instructional day. Additional tutors are approved as needed for students requiring home instruction services. These tutors are content area certified as required. Number 4, Title I reallocation funds will be on our agenda today. Title I allocation funds are provided to districts via an application process. These funds are the results of funds that were not used by districts throughout the state of New Jersey and made available to districts to support 3 specific areas: social emotional learning, STEAM, and technology. 5, preschool expansion aid 1-year program. And you will notice that is also on our Department of Education website. The district chose not to submit the application for the preschool expansion aid because there's too many stipulations required that the district is unable to meet. The greater obstacle is the inability to provide the additional physical space needed to expand the preschool program. 6, parent resources. The committee discussed the various New Jersey Department of Education resources available to parents. The district will provide a link to those resources. Hopefully, all that will be in place so it appears on the website as the beginning of February. But parents now can currently go to the Department of Education to look at the links that they have provided. Summer reading. The summer reading list will be reviewed late in the school year. The committee also offered their assistance, if needed, with reading books that may be considered for adoption. Those that will be interested in reading is our board president, Mrs. Pitts, Mrs. Martin, that's on the education committee, and myself. The meeting ended at 5:55 p.m. Our next meeting is scheduled for the month of December, the second week on Monday at 3:30 via conference call. Any questions for the education committee?
Julie, I'm sorry, Ms. Peterson.
Yes.
Is there a way that we'll get a copy of the, I guess the minutes? I know normally if we were in an in-front setting, we would have copies of the meeting. At least so, for me, if I could, like, if it's possible, Madam President, is there any way for us to get copy of the minutes so that if we have questions, we'll be able a chance to look through the minutes? Because there's a lot being read. And just for me, like, I think it would be better for me to be able to look at it. And if I have questions, I'll be ready to ask them. But because we don't have it in front of us, there was a lot of information, vital information that you provided, and I can't keep up with it. So.
Okay, I would be more than willing to email everyone tomorrow morning a copy of it. I apologize not emailing it out, but I had to type them up. And since we finished, it was a very fruitful and interesting discussion. And we didn't finish until almost 5 minutes, as I said, 5 minutes to 6.
Right, that's fine, Ms. Peterson. I was just making that note so that for me, it's easier for me to have said it, seen it ahead of time. So in case there was any questions.
Let me go back. You may be interested with the technology support. If you look on the websites, each school's website and our district, if you look at that, we are going to be looking at that information and gathering stats so that we can determine where are the correct needs and interests. In fact, I'm a prime example. Everyone knows that I use everything Macintosh. Sometimes it's hard in navigating from Macintosh to a PC or a PC clone. And that you find when I'm going in and out of meetings. So I apologize, but those are some of the statistics we're going to look at. So Mrs. McClendon, you'll be able to say in a month, where are our parents having areas of concern? So we'll have the stat on that. And I think that's helpful as we move forward to improve our services if we know where exactly we need to go. So thank you for mentioning that and reminding me to mention that data collection piece that we have as a part of the Education Committee.
Thank you, Ms. Peterson, and thank you, Ms. McClendon, because this, let me just inform some and remind others, specifically our committee chairs, it has been past practices that certainly our reports out of our committee are usually, excuse me, in writing. And as you know, when we were in person, when we received reports out of the committees, they were usually in our folders. So I'm asking all committee chairs, reminding all committee chairs that it is important that your committee reports are given and shared with the board, as well as with the board secretary, so that board members may have an opportunity to read over the committee reports and be able to have prepared questions at the committee, at our board meetings. Agreed?
No problem.
Okay, thank you. Moving now from our Education Committee, would there be a report from the Operations Committee? I know that Ms. Dredden is out sick. Any other member on the Operation Committee? No comment?
No, there's no report. We didn't have a meeting this
Okay,
month.
thank you, Mr. Shaw. The Policy Committee, we did not meet here in November because we found that there really was no need, and that the policies that you see in your folders that you have received are up for second reading. December policy meeting is to be determined. I can say this to the Policy Committee members: there may not be necessary to have a December Policy Committee meeting, but certainly I will let you know well in advance. Moving now to our Marketing Committee, will there be a report from the Marketing Committee?
We did not have a meeting this month, Mrs. Pitts, but I just want to remind everybody that December 16th is our scheduled virtual town hall.
Yes.
So I would like to make sure everybody is in the community is getting ready for that, because we will be discussing the HVAC work that's been done in the district that's been ongoing since September to certify our systems. We will be discussing the parent survey and whatever else it comes up, I guess, at this point, because with the whole COVID spike, everything's up.
Yes,
so
I agree. Mr. Shaw, what time is that meeting again?
6 p.m.
Okay, thank you.
We're gonna keep it on a Wednesday like a board meeting. We're gonna keep it at the same time as the board meeting, so that
Good.
way it's same tendencies of having a board meeting.
Right, same time, same station. Very good.
Yes, ma'am.
Would there be a report back to you, Mr. Shaw, from the athletic committee?
No, but we did not have a meeting for the athletic committee this month either. But I just want to say that the New Jersey State Interscholastic Athletic Association put out an update on Thursday about dates for the winter sports. These are all tentative because we don't know what's going to happen with COVID and with anything else as far as the updates. So as of right now, from what I'm reading from their website, basketball practices are allowed to start on January 11th with competition running from January 26th through March 6th. Winter track and field practices start February 1st. Competitions run February 16th through the 27th. Girls volleyball and wrestling, March 1st. Practices and competitions goes March 16th through April 24th. As we can see, everything is not normal, the normal standard season that we normally have. So seasons are cut short, and and I would just warn everybody that's going to participate in these sports, be prepared. Who knows what's going to happen, and we'll just pray we have seasons for right now.
Yeah, I would agree, Mr. Shaw. It's all unpredictable. It's all unpredictable. So, and I'm sure that it all certainly, as the governor has indicated, it all depends on where we are as a state and as a county with regards to this pandemic. Thank you, Mr.
And also,
Shaw.
and Mrs. Pitts, one more thing, and also, I believe that the interstate travel is still not allowed for sports. So that's the other thing. Everything's going to be local.
Right. Well, again, our safety and health comes first. Thank you, Mr. Shaw. I believe that concludes our committee reports. Moving now to the superintendent's report. Board members, I'm asking for a motion to approve the superintendent's report. That begins at the bottom of page 2 of our agenda and continues through to the top of page 5. Is there a motion?
Motion, Blake.
Second, Shaw.
Moved by Mr. Blake, second by Mr. Shaw. Would there be further questions or comments? Thank you. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Ms. McClendon?
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Ms. Pitts?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you, Ms. Chico. Moving now, board members, I'm asking for a motion to approve the Business Administrative Board Secretary's report that begins at the bottom of page 5 and continues through on our agenda to the top of page 14. Is there a motion?
Motion, Blake.
Second, Shaw.
Is that page 9, Mrs. Pitts?
I'm sorry, page 9. I was looking at number 14. Thank you, Mr. Long. Again, from page 5 to page 9. And that was a motion made by Mr. Blake, approved by Mr. Shaw. Any further comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Ms. McClendon?
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Ms. Pitts?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you, Ms. Chico. Board members, moving now to our personnel report. I am asking for a motion to approve the following action items under our personnel report. Our personnel report begins at the bottom of page 9 and continues through to the top of page 11. Is there a motion?
Blake, motion.
Shaw, second.
Moved by Mr. Blake, second by Mr. Shaw. Would there be further comments or questions? Thank you. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you, Ms. Chico. Moving now, board members, to our addendum. I'm pretty sure that it was emailed to us all this afternoon, and I see Mr. Blake, yes, Mr. Shaw, yes, fine. So therefore, on our addendum, I'm asking for a motion to approve the superintendent's report as it appears that it begins and ends on page 1. Is there a motion?
Blake, motion.
Shaw, second.
Moved by Mr. Blake, second by Mr. Shaw. Would there be further comments or questions? Thank you. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you, Ms. Chico. Board members, we're still on our addendum. Page 2, I'm asking for a motion to approve the one item from the Business Administrative Board Secretary's report on page 2. Is there a motion? Mr.
Motion. Motion, Blake.
Moved by Mr. Blake,
Second, Shaw.
second by Mr. Shaw. Further questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you, Ms. Chico. Board members, returning to our agenda. We are now at the open public records request. Ms. Chico?
There's none this evening, Madam President.
Thank you, Ms. Chico. Moving now, board members, to old business. Is there any old business that you would care to discuss at this time?
Yes, Madam President, Dr. Potteet.
Yes, Dr. Potteet.
First of all, good evening, everyone. If you can recall that at last board meeting, Mrs. McClendon asked a question of concern about the 340 students who received a 5 or 10 day letter for attendance or absence. And she asked that I report back to the board how many parents responded or what was the outcome of those individuals. First of all, let me say that in my conference with Mr. Jack Mills, who is our attendance officer, we went back a couple years, and I want you to know that the 340 individuals' letters that were mailed and home contacts, they are right around the same amount that we would normally have around this time of year every year. The reason I mention that is because I didn't want anyone to feel that the 340 letters that went out, or excuse me, home visits was based solely upon the fact that we're in full remote. So it really didn't have much of an impact. What happened, and what I would like to explain, I'll go by school. So to give you an idea of the response. At school 1, 34 home visits were made. 15 of those parents responded back to the school for action, which is 44% of that number. At school 2, 26 letters went out. 15 of the 15 of the parents responded for 57%. At school 3, it was 22. 15 of the parents responded, 68%. School 4 was 33. 25 of the parents responded for 75%. School 5, there was 39 home visits. 25 of the parents responded for 64%. School 6, 41 home visits were made. 20 of the parents responded for 48%. Middle school, 52 home visits. 30 parents responded for 52%. And at high school, there were 93 home visits with 70 parents responding for 75%. Just want to give you some additional information. We make home visits on a regular basis. At the high school, the assistant principals call parents. The middle school, the counselors call parents, as well as the elementary school parents. Counselors call parents. At this point, we will continue to make contact for those parents who have not responded. They have been contacted again, and we will continue this process. We have increased again this year by almost 50% the number of home visits that were made to give the parents an opportunity to have someone to speak face to face. So at this point, we are getting a response from the parents. And when I say we're getting a response, they are calling in to the building principal, and we're getting the young people back into their classes and making sure that we are addressing the attendance issues with the parents. And if there's any additional services that we can provide, the school district is willing to help. So that's the update as of right now. And we will continue to work with all of those parents to help them to address any attendance issues that they may have.
Dr. Poteet?
Yes.
Thank you for the update. And I like the information that you provided, the detail with each school and the number of parents responding. I like the numbers. It looks like we are digging into that number of 340. So, kudos to the district for, pressing on with these parents to make sure, one, our students are in instruction. Times are really different right now, working remotely. There shouldn't be many excuses as to why any of our students are not logging on. So I'm glad to see these numbers, the responses from the numbers of students that were not logging on. We're getting responses from parents, and, thank you. And I look for the district to continue to push for the parents that we haven't heard from to get on board.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any other old business you would care to discuss at this time? Mr. Blake, before I go further, I know that sometimes you are unmuted, correct? Correct? Because sometimes your lips are moving, but I don't hear anything.
Oh, yeah.
I just wanted you to know that. I didn't know whether we were playing games or what.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm unmuted.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I see you, Mr. Shaw. Anyway, moving on with our old business. Any further old business at this time? Because I do have one item of old business, board members. This is November. It's our last meeting of November. And if you can recall in the past, with regards to scheduling the time and the method for our meetings going forward, we really have not settled on the December meetings. Our 2 meetings in December, which are December 9th and December 22nd, we have to, at this point, agree on the time and the method. So therefore, certainly, there's no need in breaking what we've been doing since March. Our meetings are at 6. Is that agreed?
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
Mr. Long, question, should I take a roll call, or is a consensus sufficient?
Appears as though you have a consensus. I would just ask, are there any objections?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Long.
Hearing none,
So,
proceed.
thank you. Again, I'll repeat, our 2 meetings in December, there is a consensus that it will also be held at 6 p.m. Are there any objections? Thank you. That's the first half. The second half has to do with the method. The method is one in which we're in, and that is the remote method. WebEx is the platform that we're using. And if we are in agreement, is there a consensus that we will proceed in this remote method? Is there a consensus?
Yes.
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 Any
Yes.
objections? Thank you, board members. So therefore, Ms. Chico, our 2 meetings scheduled for December, one December 9th, the second one December 22nd, will begin at 6 p.m. and will be conducted remotely.
Thank you, Madam President.
You're welcome. Board members, before I move from this, any other items that you would want to discuss under old business?
Mrs. Pitts,
Yes, Mr. Shaw.
do we have to put the town hall under, advertise that too?
Oh, the town hall meeting certainly is being advertised.
Okay, I just want to make sure that that gets, published too.
Legal
I believe-
advisement. Yes, Ms. Chico, if you would make note of that.
I'm making note. Thank you.
Absolutely, Mr. Shaw, because it's still a meeting, so it would still
Right.
fall under the regular practices that we would have of notifying the public about our meetings. Okay?
I just want to make sure, we don't forget about that.
No, we wouldn't forget about that. Trust me. Any other old business?
Yes, Madam President, the reorganization meeting.
Scheduled for January 6th?
Yes, and
Yes.
it's also going to be 6 o'clock, and it's also going to be a virtual meeting. How are you going to same procedure?
Unless there's a huge drastic change in the numbers where the pandemic is going, the January 6th reorganization meeting, board members, January 6th at 6 p.m. remotely. Is there a consensus?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Anyone object? Thank you. And so that meeting, reorganization meeting, Dr. Poteet, will be posted, as is our practice going forward.
Thank you.
Any further clarification?
Madam President, I have a question.
Yes, Ms. McClendon.
And I'm not sure if when we're going to discuss this or not. But I know that the parent survey has been sent out, or at least I've seen it on the Genesis portal. But when are we going to begin to discuss whether or not school will be reopening in January? I know we were looking at towards the end of December, but I'm not sure if it's going to be one of our meetings in December. But when will we begin to look and gather the factual information that's out whether or not if school is going to go into the hybrid or
Well,
not?
Ms. McClendon, you're just jumping ahead of us a bit because Dr. Poteet is going to give that information under information items.
Okay, sorry about that.
No, that's fine.
We were throwing out dates, so I was just wondering if we were going to talk about in this meeting or one of the December meetings. So just wanted clarification.
Dr. Poteet will update us on that.
Okay, very
Okay?
well.
All
Yes.
right. Okay, moving forward, board members, new business. Board members, would there be any new business that you would care to discuss at this time?
Yes, Madam President.
Ms. Peterson?
We did get a report in our file, a superintendent's report, Board of Education, and it says the ethnic composition of Winslow School District. Is that posted somewhere on the website?
Is that, you're asking Dr. Poteet?
Yes.
Mrs. Peterson, I'm not sure what report you're referring to.
It's the ethnic composition of Winslow Township School District and goes by each school, the race.
I am not aware of that being posted on our website.
Okay, I just wanted to check. Okay, thank you.
I have not posted, nor have I directed anyone to post it, Ms. Peterson.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Thank you. It's just informational then.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming
But I need to know where it came from.
it's exhibit number XB:3. It's in our packets this week.
Okay, then that's just for your information. And of course,
Okay. Thank you.
yes, all right.
Okay. Thank you.
Mrs. Fitz, may I make a comment under new business?
Yes, Mr. Long.
Mr. Fitz, yes, Executive Order 196.
Yes.
It was signed by the governor on November 16th, 2020. May have been the subject of some discussion with the board previously. I just want to indicate that as a result of that, the governor clarified and reduced the number of individuals at indoor gatherings that are not religious services or celebrations or political activities or wedding ceremonies or funerals, which limit is now 10. The number of individuals at indoor gatherings for the items that I mentioned, the religious services, political activities, etc., shall be limited to 25% of the room capacity in which it takes place. But regardless of that capacity, it shall never be larger than 150 people, and nor smaller than 10 persons. Again, certain government entities, such as municipalities and boards of education, are exempted from those regulations. However, let me say this. The state has passed NJAC 5:39-1, which is the emergency remote meeting protocol for local public bodies, which we follow. They also passed Public Law 2020 C11, which permits regular meetings to be conducted remotely by electronic means without providing a physical meeting place. So while there is the ability for us to meet in person, I would strongly suggest for a variety of reasons. Number one, safety. Number two, liability. That we continue as the board has indicated its desire to continue operating in this capacity. If anything, it seems to have given folks, based at least on my experience of having been in the district 10 years, more of an opportunity to participate in the proceedings and more likely to participate in the proceedings. And as long as we can maintain that safety level, there is really no need to take the chance to gather in person. Particularly what we see the numbers increasing as we do throughout the state. We are, well, the law may permit it, it doesn't mean it's right. And there's entirely appropriate authorized regulatory scheme and legislative authorization for us to proceed exactly in the manner that we are presenting. We have 28 public clients in our firm. We have one that's meeting in person. So everyone is proceeding. You always wonder, what's everybody else doing? Everybody else is doing exactly the same thing that we're doing. And I think that's a very, very wise decision. With regard to athletic practices, Mr. Shaw did give the dates, and there have been delays. I think on track and field, Mr. Shaw, I think you mentioned March, and then I think you said March again, but I think that it was an April date. So I think there's about a 6-week window in there. I think you just probably misspoke on that in giving those dates, but is on because I know indoor track is extremely important in Winslow, as we know. I think there's about a 6-week window there. But athletic practices and competitions conducted indoors are also subject to gathering of limits of 10. However, you're permitted for no contact practices, and competition to have greater than 10, and it may proceed as long as no individuals are present who are not necessary for the practice or the competition, such as spectators. So they've shortened the season. They've changed. The state sees what's coming. They're watching the numbers. The governor's putting the squeeze on without having to do a complete shutdown.
Mhm.
So, there are changes that are coming about as a result of the increased numbers. By the way, schools that were either off or open completely, and you could opt for remote, which I had a few of those, and some that were entered the hybrid. And Dr. Petit probably knows this from his attendance at the superintendent's gatherings. They're all going remote. They are exactly where we are right now, in large numbers. Everybody has swung over in the last 3 weeks because of the category. I think Camden County is moving from an orange into a red, which is not a good sign in terms of levels of the virus spreading. So I think everybody has joined us in conducting education in the same manner that we are. Even those that were open and primarily, and you could opt out and do virtual from home, they are now all going virtual. Thank you, Mrs. Pitts. Thank you, board member.
Okay. You're welcome. Board members, any comments or questions for Mr. Long? Thank you. Moving now, board members, to informational items. I just have, before I turn it over to Dr. Poteet, just wanted to mention that several of the board members this Saturday, and yes, we do go to sessions on Saturday. We attended the twice a year delegate assembly that is sponsored by the New Jersey School Board Association, whereby at this time, more than about 125, 130 school board members from across the state attended. The purpose of this gathering is for the New Jersey School Board to come together and speak about any kind of policies as it relates to how school boards operate. And so several of us did attend that Saturday. Two things I would just like to mention. One, Mr. Long has already spoke upon at the delegate assembly. We talked about the Executive Order 196, and also, and board members who attended, you correct me if I'm wrong, they also, Mr. McClure, I think the president of NJSBA, spoke about something that he mentioned as being Military Opportunity Day. Although he did not elaborate on that too much, but it is interesting. So therefore, with regards to that, I'm going to ask Mr. Blake and Mr. Shaw to do a little research on that. And after our break, if you find anything that you feel as if it's something that our district can partake in, please report out and let us know. Okay? Thank you. Now, Dr. Poteet, informational items?
Yes, Madam President, I'm going to pick up where Mr. Long left off. On my Monday meetings, we've had some discussion about the positive COVID-19 cases in our school district and in Camden County. The Camden County superintendents, as well as the leaders of the charter schools, have been meeting on a regular basis because of the spread of COVID-19. One of the things I'd like to mention is that we receive on a weekly basis a COVID-19 statewide activity level timeline, and it shows a image of the state of New Jersey, and it is color coded. When we first started in September, the state was was green, which means that the transmission of positive cases was very low. We move into yellow, which means that the cases across the state were moderate. Right now, we're presently orange. Orange means that the positive cases across the state, as well as Camden County, is high. And under the orange coloration, it is it asks school districts pretty much to consider going full remote. Once you reach red is what is considered very high. And if your county or the part of the state in which you live in is red, then it is no question that you should be full remote. some of the information that was shared with us by Dr. Nawako, who is the director of the Camden County Health Department, he stated on Thursday that 269 positive cases are being reported per day in Camden County. And this virus is spreading very quickly. We're going to have another meeting tomorrow with the superintendents at 1 o'clock because we need to know as soon as possible whether or not Camden County will be in the red before the break. They are asking us to minimize, as already been mentioned, minimize the number of gatherings within your school district. They're also asking you to minimize any travel that you may have planned for Thanksgiving holiday. It was very clear to us that the Department of Health will not make a decision on behalf of the school district to close your schools. The governor has made it very clear that he is not going to be the one to make the decision to close schools if you go into the red. That decision is based on the information we receive within our county, and the superintendent and the school boards will be the ones who have to make that decision for your community. All right? They are saying that at this point, when you congregate, that's where you have the spreads. They're finding that more spreads are occurring in homes than anywhere else, meaning that if one person contract the virus, then everybody in the house contract the virus. So they're getting cases where mother, father, son, daughter, uncles, aunts, everybody who live in the house have the virus. And that is becoming an issue because the cases are coming pretty fast. So at this point, that brings us to where we are here in Winslow Township. Just since our last meeting and today, I reported to the health department that we had 5 employees test positive today. And that's double what we had since our last meeting. And of course, the student cases continue to rise. However, again, even though we're not in session, these occurrences are happening while they're at home or in the community or whatever their social life may be. That's what's continuing to spread, and is spreading rapidly. To address the question that Mrs. McClendon raised about when we were going to have the discussion on the parent survey, that was going to be, of course, one of the main items on our agenda for the virtual town hall meeting. However, let me just address that now briefly. We placed the survey on the website, we placed it on our Facebook page, and we also placed it in Genesis. It was brought to my attention yesterday that some of the parents was having an issue when they went to the survey, they couldn't get out of it. And that is because by design, wasn't a mistake, by design, but we've corrected. One of the parents said to me that once she went to the survey, she didn't answer it, but she couldn't get out. The reason you couldn't get out is because you have to answer the question yes or no. However, if you're undecided, we had placed another choice there as undecided. So if you click undecided, then you can proceed through Genesis. But at this point, Mrs. McClendon, one of the reasons we had done that is because we weren't getting many responses. And I found out last night that the reason we weren't getting responses because the parents are still unsure. And there are so many variables that need to be considered. One, of course, parents want to know whether or not the schools will be ready. And at this point, that is our plan. The schools, we're planning the schools to be ready to open January the 4th. Where will we be in terms of the virus? Will we be in the red? We don't know that yet, but if we're in the red, of course, the recommendation is that schools should not open because it's not safe. The other consideration was whether or not, of course, parents wanted to stay full remote. Did they have the option of doing face-to-face? And of course, that option boils down to each individual person. The other question that came up is how many teachers are going to be available at January the 4th? And these are questions, of course, that I can't answer. Teachers are not obligated, or the professional staff are not obligated to let us know what they intend to do until January the 4th. Of course, we know there are staff members with pre-existing health issues. I've been in communication with several staff who reached out to me and stated that they had some serious concerns about returning because of the health issue. For those of you who may have seen publicly, the NJEA, the New Jersey Education Association, have already sent a letter to the governor stating that all schools in the state of New Jersey should be closed because of the pandemic and the spread of it, and that is their recommendation. So with all of that being thrown into the pot, it's very difficult at this point for me to be able to say one way or the other where we're going to be and whether or not we're going to open on time. A decision, of course, will have to be made, but we will have to gather all that information. And at some point, some of the answers will be already provided for us. We'll know where we stand as far as the pandemic. We'll know whether or not the schools are safe. We won't know how many teachers. And then at this point, again, we still will not know how many parents are going to send their children or how many are going to stay full remote. So with all that being said, the bottom line is it's just too many variables for us to have a clear decision as to what's going to happen come January 4th. Did anyone have any questions about just the health and safety of the community and where we are in Camden County? If not, then I'll just move on to some of the other items that I have.
Dr. Poteet, thanks for addressing that. Because when you said that, like when I looked at the survey, I was one of those parents that one was undecided. But the reason why I mentioned the survey is because the conversation with the district and the board would need to happen first to be able to even address the survey at one point. So that was why I was kind of mentioning it. But my focus was, when were we as a district going to talk about what the vision we had, based off of the factual information that's going on with the state and the governor. So just wanted to bring clarity to that.
Yes. Well, so that you know, and I have been stating to the parents who've asked me, it is our intent as a district to have schools open come January the 4th. Now, that is our intent. But whether or not we're going to open, considering all the other variables, that remains to be seen. So that's the only answer I can give you at this point in terms of what our intent is. But of course, the health and safety of the staff and students, of course, is our first priority. And until we are clear on whether or not all the health issues are in place, then we'll be able to determine whether or not we're going to move forward, right?
Right. I totally agree. Thank you.
Dr. Poteet.
Yes, sir.
Do you have a deadline on how long the survey is going to be up?
It's there. It will be there until the 30th.
Okay.
It'll be there to the 30th. And again, that gives us an opportunity to do whatever tallies we can. Based on what we've seen so far, we are not getting a lot of responses, and the parents were very honest about that last night because they still aren't sure what they want to do until a lot of these questions are answered. And unfortunately for all of us, many of these questions will not be answered until we get closer to that date. So we still aren't going to have, so I'm going to assume we may get quite a few undecideds.
And there has been a update to the survey that includes an undecided answer?
Yes, that was done today. As a result
good.
Of as a result of one of the questions raised last night, we went on and made that change.
Okay, very good.
Now, for all parents, students, and staff, early dismissal is tomorrow. Of course, we are closed for Thursday and Friday. And I just want to take this opportunity to wish everyone a happy and safe Thanksgiving. Madam Chairman, Chair, that concludes my information items for this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Poteet. Board members, any questions? If hearing no questions, we will go forward. Going now, board members, into public comments. The Winslow Township Board of Education highly values the input of citizens in making important decisions that affect the children of our community. We also believe in the rights of citizens to observe our board meetings, to ensure that all of our citizens have the opportunity to attend school board meetings and offer comment, and to ensure that the board can conduct the important business of the district. We ask that speakers follow these guidelines for making public comments. The board president or board secretary will recognize those individuals who wish to make comment. Please respect these following procedures. Number one, all members of the public attending school board meetings must treat each other and the board with respect. Number two, kindly state your full name and address. Number three, please limit your comments to 4 minutes. Number four, kindly submit your questions to the Board of Education with your name, address, and telephone number, where you can be contacted if you're not able to get through to us this evening. Your questions will be answered within a reasonable amount of time. And number five, individuals offering citizen comment are not permitted to make personal attacks on any district employee, board member, other testifier, or member of the public. And before we go into public comment, I would ask all callers to bear with us because, again, this technology, this new mode, there is a delay and there are some glitches, so we ask for your patience. Board members, at this time, I'm asking for a motion to approve our moving into public comment.
Blake, motion.
Moved by Mr. Blake, second by Mr. Shaw. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any objections? Thank you. Ms. Chico?
Hello, we do have one caller online. Good evening. Welcome to the public comments section of the board meeting. Please state your name and address and proceed with your comment.
My name is Constance Porter from 2 Scenic View Drive, Brooklyn, New Jersey. I had called in last week. I was trying to find, I know that we're still discussing the basketball coach situation. Trying to find out what factors will the decision be made on? Is it a seniority thing? Is it are we looking at, the benefit for like who showed more of a benefit for the children or?
Dr. Poteet, if I may, these are personnel decisions that come from you based upon the totality of circumstances. That's safe to assume. All personnel decisions taken by the board are predicated upon the superintendent's recommendations, and without referring to any specific situation, I know Dr. Poteet takes a number of factors into consideration, which he discusses with the board on a routine basis, including this particular situation, but I can't give you specifics because of the personnel nature of the matter.
That makes sense, but as far as Dr. Poteet is available, what things does he look at when he's making a decision? I think that's a fair question for parents to know what's going into the decisions that are being made.
And Doc, I'm going to ask you to be extremely careful or not respond at all. Not out of any disrespect, please. Please don't take it that way. But because we're talking about an individual, it's naturally going to be inferred that whatever statements you make are directly towards that individual. And Dr. Poteet, with all due respect, and the board and ma'am, I can't permit legally the board to do that because that would be highly inappropriate.
Yes, but Mr. Long, I just want to say one thing so the caller will know. The decision to fill that position has already been made, and we have a candidate that's already in the position.
Okay. And I guess I accept your response. I mean, clearly I can't I guess we don't have much of a say in that decision, but I do think, I understand what you're saying of being cautious and inquiring about a particular person. However, overall, I think that we should have some knowledge of what we're looking for in personnel. Like, what is the board about to say? What do you look for in candidates when you make these decisions? I think to say that, you know, that's not public knowledge is really unfair. You know, some districts, seniority is a huge factor. People have seniority and there's not much say around that for union issues. Sometimes so I think it's a fair question for us to know, because, I mean, our kids are the ones that are directly affected by personnel. What are the characteristics that we're looking for? What kind of track record are we looking for? Is there anything that says, you know, this isn't a good fit or changes our mind? And what stance do we have going forward if this is a decision that we're not happy with, that we can make changes?
I don't know how else I can answer any different, Mrs. Pitts. I'm not trying to be unfair. When it's brought up in reference specifically to the basketball coach, that really hinders.
I think personnel at this point. We can take the basketball coach out of it. We can take the basketball coach out of the question, out of the sentence, if that makes it easier. Personnel wise, if it comes down to you, Dr. Patel, what are the
I can respond to that, Mr.
What I'm saying?
Yes, I can respond to that. That is with every professional position or any position in the school district, when that position is posted, there is a job description that accompanies that job. And what are the expectations? My Department of Human Resources have job descriptions for every position, and that kind of information when we post positions is normally right there. So those would be the expectations. And, you know, we can look at those job descriptions and put a lot of what is expected of that individual in the position as a part of the job description.
Okay. My next question would be really quickly is if as parents, we're not happy with the decision, do we have any recourse? Well, if we have to deal with this decision and it's not one that we support and we have issues along the way, because if we're going to switch back now to, I know there's been issues in the past that has many parents concerned with Coach Ingram. What's our recourse? What do we do at that point? Where do we go?
Excuse me, caller, this is Ms. Pitts. At this time, you've gone over your 4 minutes, and if you have further need for information, I would ask that you contact Dr. Poteet directly.
Okay, so you had the option to contact him directly.
Yes, absolutely.
And we expect a response, and our voices will be heard.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, caller. Hello, welcome to the public comment section of the board meeting. Please state your name and address and proceed with your comment.
This is Nasir Watson, a junior at Winslow Township High School of Sicklerville, New Jersey. And I want to express my concerns about, on behalf of Coach Wayne Nelson. I transferred back to Winslow last year as a sophomore. Coach Wayne accepted me with open arms, and I built a relationship with him on and off the court. He always pushes me and my teammates to do our best and make sure that we stay on top of our schoolwork. Our basketball team has created a bond that we call brotherhood that we're not allowed to be broken with a coaching change. With that being said, if Coach Wayne is not the basketball coach, I will no longer be a part of the basketball team.
Is that did the caller stop?
Yes, the caller stopped. Is there anything else?
Yes, thank you. So let me express my concerns. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Ms. Chico?
We're waiting for any other callers if they should call in.
Okay, thank you.
We have another caller again. Good evening and welcome to the public comment section of the board meeting. Please state your name and address and proceed with your comment.
Good evening. My name is Angela Watson, Sicklerville, New Jersey.
Yes, you can proceed.
I'm calling on behalf of Coach Wayne Nelson, the Winslow community, and the boys high school basketball team. I just want to add how earlier this year, like most of the world, our children were thrust into a period of uncertainty and instability. Throughout this rough period, Coach Wayne has gone above and beyond his duties as a coach and has remained one of the constant figures in our children's lives during these unprecedented times. As a parent, we hope that we entrust with our children's well-being, will love and care for them as we would. Coach has exceeded that expectation on and off the court. He has pushed these boys to do good in the classroom, and he has increased the team's GPA to a 3.2. I want to say prior to Coach Wayne being in his position, Coach Ingram was the coach. The boys were allowed to play basketball despite their failing grades. There were kids ready to play at the next level, but they couldn't because they weren't ready academically. I also want to say how a kid that I know personally tore his ACL, and Coach Ingram left him hurt at an away game and told him to wait for his parents while he took the other kids to a basketball game. Coach Ingram quit on our boys once, and who's to say it won't happen again? As a mother of a Black son, I recognize that it is extremely important for our sons to have a positive Black role model, especially in school. To sever the bond this team, these boys, our children, have built with Coach over the past 4 years would do a disservice to not only this basketball team, but to our Winslow High School community at the time when our students need stability more than anything. And that's all. Thanks for listening to my concerns, and I hope you consider keeping Coach Wayne as these boys' coach. They really need him.
Thank you, caller.
Thank you. There were a couple people trying to call through while that caller was on.
Okay, Ms. Chico, we will wait. We will give them 5 minutes.
Okay, somebody's calling in now. Thank you. Hello and good evening. Welcome to the public comments of the board meeting. Please state your name and address and proceed with your comment.
Hi, my name is Marcus Gibson, Sicklerville, New Jersey, 08081. And I am calling on behalf of Coach Nelson. I'm currently a junior at Winslow Township High School. I want to express my feelings about the coaching change. Coach Nelson took me in with open arms and showed me all the loyalty. So I'm going to show the same back for him. If Coach Nelson doesn't have the coaching job, I will not be interested in playing for Winslow Township basketball anymore.
Okay, thank you, caller.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So, board members.
Somebody's calling in.
Good
Good evening. Welcome to the public comment section of the board meeting. Please state your name and address and proceed with your comment.
My name is Ezekiel Saab. My address is 8 Longbow Court, Sicklerville, New Jersey, 08081. I'm currently a senior at Winslow Township High School. I believe I sent a email to Mr. Poteet's email, but I don't think it went through. I think I have the wrong email. If I could just say like this before I have to say what I have to say. Mr. Poteet, what is your email? So I can before I have to say what I have to say.
It's on the website, correct, Dr. Poteet?
No, I didn't hear. He said something. Was there an email?
It would like your email, Dr. Poteet. It's available on the website, correct?
Yes, he can have my email because those individuals who did send me an email, I responded to the emails. So yes, my email address is on the website, and I'll be more than happy to respond.
Okay. Well, besides that, I'm speaking on behalf of Coach Wayne Nelson. I've played with the team for my last 4 years at the school. and he's done nothing but help and be a role model in every way possible. And I think it would be a disservice to me and my teammates. I feel like it'd be a big smack in the face to all the other players who have played with him. And I feel like it would be disrespectful to all of us a month before the season to make a coaching change. And with that being said, I don't want to suit up for Winslow Township if he is not going to be the coach this year. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Good evening. Welcome to the public comments section of the board meeting. Please state your name and address and proceed with your comment.
Hello, my name is Marquis Brew. I'm a student at Winslow Township High School. I am a junior, and I am here to speak about my feelings on the coaching change. I think that Coach Wayne Nelson, he's like a really good coach because I've been playing on teams since my freshman year, and ever since then, I've improved as a basketball player and as a young man too, off the court. He's like a father figure to me. I look up to him, respect him as much as my other teammates do. And I feel like if he's just not the coach this year, I won't be playing because like he helped us a lot off the court as young Black men growing up in America. So that's just pretty much all I want to say. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you. Good evening. Welcome to the public comments section of the board meeting. Please state your name and address and proceed with your comment.
Hi, my name is Christy Renzulli at 5 Concord Boulevard, Chicago. Good evening, everybody. First, I just want to say to Dr. Botti and the board, I hope you have a very happy Thanksgiving this week. And thanks for your time tonight. And then I just got a really quick question. I know that the policy committee and others on the board were talking through the new CAC sort of guidelines, and I wondered if we had an update on where that was and if any decisions were made around that yet.
Ms. Renzulli, would you repeat that? You were asking, I didn't hear exactly what it was you were asking.
Sure. I just wondered if the policy committee had met on any of the new guidelines around the CAC or if any decisions had been made about how we would move forward with that committee. I know that you're all working on some reorganization with that group, and I didn't know if there were any updates.
Well, if I'll let Ms. Martin answer that, but I believe at our last meeting, Ms. Renzulli, that the Citizen Advisory Group restructuring committee that I appointed, I believe Ms. Martin said that they were going to meet at the end of this month, but I'll let Ms. Martin answer that.
Yes, Ms. Renzulli, we are meeting at the end of the month. I believe it is on November 29th to finalize the reorganization, and that information will be provided in the December 9th board meeting. All of the reorganization information.
Okay, great. I appreciate that update. Thank you. I missed that date this time, and everybody have a great holiday weekend.
Thank you. You too, Ms. Renzulli.
Good evening. Welcome to the public comments section of the board meeting. Please state your name and address and proceed with your comment. Hello?
My name is.
Oh, sorry.
Good evening. Welcome to the public comment section of the board meeting. Please state your name and address and proceed with your comment.
My name is Bajan Pulley, 51 Penfield Lane.
Can you I'm sorry, can you turn down the background noise?
My apologies.
Thank you.
My name is John Foley. My address is 51 Penfield Lane, Sicklerville, New Jersey. I'm calling on behalf of Coach Wayne Nelson. I've been with Coach for 2 years going on 3. He's one of the best coaches I've ever had. And he's always been there for me and my teammates. He believes in me a lot of times when I don't even believe in myself. He always pushes me to stay on top of my grades and always pushes academics before basketball. He gives up a lot of his time to train me and my teammates so we can reach our best. He always keeps it real with us, and he's built a culture that we didn't have in the past. But now it feels like me and my teammates are a part of a brotherhood that we are proud to be a part of. He cares for us more than just basketball players. He cares for us as young black men. He always asks how we're doing and helps us whenever we need it. If Coach Nelson would to not retain his position as Winslow's boys varsity basketball coach, it would be a terrible decision, and I would not vote for our team.
Thank you, Cole.
Thank you. Somebody was calling through before, so.
Okay, Ms. Chico.
Good evening. Welcome to the public comments section of the board meeting. Please state your name and address.
My name is Monique Williams. I live at 4 Wildcat Branch Drive, Sicklerville, New Jersey.
You may proceed.
Hi, I just have a general question in reference to this portal and Genesis and this student survey. First of all, I completed this survey last week. Secondly, I was told I was unable to call in on Monday. So I posed the question, and I believe his name, another parent responded and told me that I had to just complete it over again. I have completed the survey again, and I still do not have access to the Genesis portal. So my concern is, why is my Genesis account locked even after I completed the survey? And who can I contact to rectify the situation?
Caller, this is Dr. Poteet. You said you completed the survey and you still cannot proceed in parent portal?
Correct. I actually completed the survey last week when Mr. Shaw posted it online. I completed it then. I completed it 3 separate times because I have 3 different children in 3 different schools.
Okay.
I was unable to attend your meeting yesterday, so I asked someone to ask the question in reference to it. And
right.
The feedback that I got was to complete the survey yet again, which has been done, but I still am unable to get into my children's account.
Right. I don't know. That was not the response I gave to the parent who asked a question similar to what you have asked. But you say you were able to move forward in maybe 1 or 2 of the others, but one you cannot, or you can't proceed in any of them.
I can't get in anything. I'm still getting the error message that I have to complete this survey.
Okay. Why don't you either call the technical office or call your building principal, whichever school you select. You can call that school tomorrow, of course, early between 9 and 12, and someone at that school should be able to help you. All right. If not, you can call the supervisor technology at the administration building, Mr. Scott or Mr. Aponte, and either one of those individuals will be able to assist you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Oh. Hello and good evening. Welcome to the public comment section of the board meeting. Please state your name and address and proceed with your comment.
This is Pastor Wayne Nelson, Senior.
Can you please turn down your background?
Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
You may proceed with your comment.
Good evening. My name is Pastor Wayne Nelson. My name is Pastor Wayne Nelson.
Okay, excuse me, caller. Excuse me. We are still getting an echo. Caller. Excuse me, caller. We are still getting an echo. Could you please reduce any background noises? Because we are still getting an echo. Any background noises? Hello?
Now? Is that better? Hello?
No, there's still an echo, sir.
I hit *6 and I have nothing playing.
No, there's still an echo.
Sir, just go forward with your comments. We'll try and make it out.
Okay, good evening to all the board members, and I want to thank you for taking my call this evening. One of the reasons why I'm calling this evening is to first acknowledge how proud I am of my oldest son, Coach Wayne Nelson, and secondly, to echo my unabashed support of him as an accomplished basketball coach and mentor as his tenure has evolved in the Winslow Township school system. I debated in my heart whether or not to make this call tonight, unbeknownst to him, but he knows he has my love and my support behind the scenes. But I publicly wanted someone else to know about it. I wasn't born yesterday, and I raised three outstanding, young, accomplished young black men, all college graduates who have come to realize and recognize that it's a blessing to be a blessing to others and to protect the Nelson heritage and the Nelson name. I myself, I've taught and I've coached in the Atlantic City public school system for 10 years. Currently been nominated in the Hall of Fame as the wrestling coach, basketball coach, track and field coach, where I proudly touched and changed the lives of thousands of young men for 10 years. I left school teaching and joined the police department. And for the next notorious 27 years, I retired after 27 years as a decorated and accomplished detective sergeant of police. During my time coaching, I've produced judges, lawyers, doctors, police officers, firemen, teachers, and coaches. Many who still, this day, still call me Coach. Coach Nelson, I call him Coach Nelson Jr., was brought up in an atmosphere and taught that it wore off because there was so much that he had to gain by giving to others. We're reminded of the song that we often sing in our congregations. May the work I've done speak for me. And it really brings to mind that in the short time that he has been there, that he has touched the lives of young men so astounding that in a matter of a couple days, a petition was instituted where over 12,000 signatures were acquired within 48 hours and still growing. There were student athletes, there were mothers, fathers, aunts, uncles, and grandparents. What Coach Nelson has been doing, and he is continuing doing, has been indicated by a slew of letters from other coaches, from players, from college coaches, even school colleagues have come up to support totally for the standards that he has instituted in the lives of his players.
Just one more minute.
I must say that because you have the right to do it, it doesn't make it right to do it. 21 days ago, over 80 million Americans voiced their will at the polls against injustice, against wrongdoing, and most importantly, they demanded the process of democracy.
Now, caller, excuse me, Pastor, caller, this is Mrs. Pitts. Caller, I'm going to ask the caller. I'm sorry, but I will have to interrupt at this point because you have gone over, caller, your 4 minutes, and I believe that we have certainly heard all that you have had to say, and so therefore I'm going to ask that you just, if you have anything further that you would like the board or Dr. Poteet to know, if you would kindly email us. And thank you very much for your call.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time for listening to me.
Thank you. So, Ms. Chico, at this point, I'm going to say this to all callers. If there are any other callers who are in line and you want to make a comment about Mr. Wayne Nelson's situation, I'm going to ask, for the sake of the board, this evening, that you contact and Dr. Poteet via email or by telephone and express your concerns to him. So again, unless there are if there are any other callers who would want to speak on any other topic other than Wayne Nelson, we will entertain that. However, I'm going to respectfully ask if there are other callers who would like to comment about Mr. Wayne Nelson, if you would share those comments or direct them to the superintendent, Dr. Poteet. Ms. Chico?
There were 2 callers and they both hung up.
Okay. Board members, at this time, I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn public comments.
Motion, Blake.
Shaw, second.
It has been moved and second to adjourn public comments. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Moving now, board members, I believe that we do not have an executive session. Is that correct, Dr. Poteet?
Yes, Madam President, that is correct.
Therefore, we have no executive session. Therefore, board members, that concludes our agenda for this evening. And therefore, I'm asking you for a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Motion, Blake.
Shaw, second.
It is moved by Mr. Blake, second by Mr. Shaw, that we adjourn this meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Everyone, please kindly have a safe, healthy, and wonderful Thanksgiving. And we will speak and see each other, if not sooner, then certainly on our next board meeting of December 9th. Good night. Everyone, take care. Be safe. Happy Thanksgiving.
Good night, everyone.
Thanksgiving.
Good night. Happy Thanksgiving.